All in Sports Network. We love sports.
Coming to you from the land of brisket and barbecue, Lone Stars and Longhorns. This is All In Colts, presented by the Unstable Blues.
Welcome back in. It is the end of the season as the Colts play their last game of the season, hosting the Jaguars. It is a meaningless game unless you are looking at draft position. We'll give you our keys to the game and matchups to watch. So let's go. All in Colts.
Yes, I'm Kevin. This is my son Liam. We are the Unstable Blues. Happy to present All In Colts as part of the Rogue Media Sports Network.
Yep, the Colts lead the all-time series between these two, 27-20, but they've lost 5 of the last 6, dating back to the disastrous end of the 21 season, as they could not beat what was widely regarded as one of the worst teams in NFL history to get a spot in the playoffs.
Yes, in terms of draft position, the Colts are currently in 12th. They could only move up as high as 11th if they lose and the Niners beat the Cardinals.
Yep.
But they are in danger of falling as far as 17th if they win and the Cowboys, Cardinals, Dolphins, Bengals, and Falcons all win.
Yes, or lose, would that be, or win?
No, they have to win. Winning means that is that correct? No,
Or,
yes,
yeah,
that's correct.
Those
yes,
teams
they
lose. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. You have me confused. I'm like, wait.
I'm sorry.
That would mean it's safe then.
Yeah, I mean, we've been in mode of, Colts may win, but, and now it's the opposite direction. So
Yes.
They're in 12th. Low probability they're probably going all the way down to 17th if all those teams lose and the Colts win. But also as a reminder, a little tidbit here. I have not gotten a brisket in the face because I did predict that the Colts would lose 2 out of their last 3 games against the Giants, Titans. Sorry, not in this order. Titans, Giants, Jaguars. So they beat the Titans, but they lost to the Giants. And so if they lose again to the Jaguars, I don't get a brisket in the face. I actually get to enjoy a nice, juicy brisket.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that
Sunday
is
night.
true. That is true. Now,
We're
going to switch things up a little bit. What's your keys to the game first?
All right. My keys to the game. Okay. Stop the run.
I like it.
Don't let Tank Bigsby do it again. Don't let Travis Etienne. Like, Doug Peterson, I think, forgets that you can run the ball sometimes until he plays the Colts. Let's make sure that he forgets that they can run the ball or at least stop it. I mean, all season, this has been a consistent problem. It has been good in places, but not ever consistently good. It's even been great in places, which is even more disturbing why it can be so bad from time to time.
Yeah.
Double Brian Thomas Jr. Everyone else is on IR. He's all that they have. So double him. Make sure he is not going to get open. That's easier said than done. But come on. Pressure Mac Jones. He's more of a pocket passer. So make sure you get him off of his spot. He will be uncomfortable, and it will lead to good things for your defense. Speaking of which, protect the ball. Take the ball.
There you go.
Turnover battle, we've seen it time and time again, can be a huge factor. It is not the definitive statistic. No statistic can ever be the definitive statistic. That is why we talk about the intangibles in our recap every week. Although I did try to nail it down, and it looks like rushing yard offense and defense may be the ticket.
Yeah.
for overall team success in a season. Protect the edges. I can't, like, their defense is built upon these two number one draft picks, I believe, Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker. I believe both number ones. So make sure you have a plan for them. Whether it's chipping, whether it is helping, whatever it is, make sure that you have a plan for them because they're coming. They're coming off the edges and they're coming strong. If that plan is push them up the field and let them rush so that you can have lanes, throwing lanes or running lanes, then so be it. Just know that they're coming. Have a plan. Attack with the deep ball.
Okay.
We are assuming at this point Anthony Richardson has not practiced for 2 of the 2 days. So we are assuming that Anthony Richardson will not be in the game. But it doesn't matter. For this thing, it doesn't matter. Both of the quarterbacks can throw the deep ball, even though I'd really like to see Jason Bean. We haven't talked about that online, have we?
I think we have.
I guess we have alluded to it. The game doesn't matter. Flacco has no future. We can't say that the Colts need to win this game, or it doesn't matter. This is the best time to pull Jason Bean out and see what he has in a real game against 2 really good pass rushers with, it seems to be a Jonathan Taylor just like end of season clicking, and all of the weapons that the Colts should have next year. I know, like, Colts fan base is just going to like murder me for not saying Sam Ehlinger.
We've
But
seen
once
what
again,
he can do.
I don't. But this shows the difference between other Colts fans and us, because we pay attention to the contracts, to the behind the scenes kind of stuff. We're not in the locker room, yes, nor is Pat McAfee, but we can say that this is Sam Ehlinger's last year of his rookie deal. He has had a shot in 22. Yes, it was 22, but it's mostly the same kind of people. That's how bad it was. 22, and those people still around. But like, he's had his shot. He's had his opportunity, and he didn't do a whole lot with it. He's Mr. August. Leave him in August. Let's see what Jason Bean can do. Let's see what we have in Jason Bean, because Flacco's not going to be around. I'm going to say, if I had my way, Ellinger's not going to be around. So this is the time to see what Jason Bean brings to the table, because you don't even have a healthy AR. It's not like you're hurting his feelings, right? Okay. Right. I don't get it. I mean, let's be honest. There's a lot that I don't get from this Colts organization and how they go about things. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, you're in a meaningless game. You might as well see what you have at this point, rather than keep the guy on the practice squad just to keep the guy on the practice squad. There's a reason you brought him in. Undrafted, yes, but there's a reason you brought him in. So it's time to see if you got something in him, or if you need to do someone else, or if you need to bring in a vet. Without seeing Jason Bean on the field, to me, does a complete disservice to the organization moving forward, which in a meaningless game, you're pretty much having a end of season preseason game.
Yeah.
Why not? You played him almost the whole preseason. He did great. Let's see what he can do here. Back to it. Deep shot. They are susceptible to the deep shot, to the deep ball. Let her rip down the field. See what I did there?
I like it.
let her rip.
Yeah.
And then last one for me is use Josh Downs. Use Josh first downs. So while you are running the ball, because we know they're going to do that, and I left that for you. And while you can do the deep shot, you still must move the change with Josh first downs. What about you? Keys to the game.
Run the ball and keep running the ball. You just
Really?
mentioned it.
Wow.
JT, like you said, has been clicking. I don't know why that is the case. Towards the end of the season, whenever he didn't need as much, clicked the game after the most important game of the season. The drop. I think another one you said. I'm kind of piggybacking off of what you said here.
That's fine.
You were talking about attack the deep ball. The Jags don't use the deep ball as much as they probably should with the receivers they have. So, I mean, yes, Mac Jones does a lot more than Trevor Lawrence does, but they still don't do it as much. It's not as part of their game plan. So, yes, double Brian Thomas Jr., have a safety come over strictly for him and have Jalen Jones on him. So, and then your other guys just kind of watch out for the others. Everyone's still an NFL player, so they're still good. Like, nothing to take for granted at all. But, that's that. You said, I'm going to say it again, use Josh Downs. You did not use him. I love how you're using Pearson Pitt. But where's Josh Downs? Where's our number one receiver? And another thing I'm going to reiterate from you, because I don't think there's many keys to the game other than these. There's you mentioned protect the edges from Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen. Exactly what I was going to say. There's no reason that you shouldn't be doing that. And then lastly, win time of possession.
It's another big one, right?
Yes. Yeah.
As we have discovered the hard way this season with this Colts team.
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you start us off on matchups to watch? I'll take it after you.
I believe Oluquan is their number one tackler, if I'm not wrong. So JT versus him, because JT has been clicking. Their corners versus our receivers. I don't know exactly who they are, but them. And then linebackers, mainly Zaire, because he's still tackle leader, versus Bigsby and Jones if he decides to scramble for some reason. Because Jones is a lot shiftier than people think. He had a crazy spin move earlier. I'm like, is that Mac Jones? And then his celebration afterwards was, a letdown after what he had just done. And then lastly, I talked about Jalen Jones and Brian Thomas Jr. So that matchup.
All right. All right. We talked about the edges, so I'm going to say Bernard Ryman versus Josh Hines-Allen, Matt Gonsalves versus Trayvon Walker. So you got a second year against fourth, fifth year, something like that, and then a rookie against third year, I believe, on the other side.
Yeah.
You mentioned the corners. I'm going to dish out one corner because that corner was not present in the first matchup. He was out, which should have been an advantage for the Colts. I don't know who they're going to put him on. So I said either Michael Pittman or Alec Pierce versus Tyson Campbell. Definitely their number one corner. Totally had a day against the Colts opening day last year in Indianapolis. And so, and then I believe this is a rookie. So Josh First Downs versus Jerrion Jones, their nickel corner. So I think that's actually going to be a good matchup. Jerrion's very good. Credit to him. And then you mentioned Jalen Jones versus Brian Thomas Jr. And I was thinking as I was going through this game early in the season. This is what this was like the fourth game, I think, fifth of the season. And this is the game that got Dallas Flowers kicked off the team because of the way too early jump, if you remember that. And so this was back when, it was Juju Brents and Dallas Flowers. Now it's Jalen Jones and Sam Womack. Like, it's a totally different thing. And so let's see what Jalen Jones has for Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah, Jalen Jones is a top corner, I would say, in the league right now. Very underrated. Pro Football Focus. I think it's them, maybe someone else. They put a tier list out for they have 6 tiers. Normally the Colts aren't on them. This year they actually have been. Quarterbacks, they haven't been. Interior D linemen, Grove and Buck are right next to each other. Zaire's normally in tier 2, and then Speed's tier 6, something like that. Anyways, what I was getting to is Jalen Jones is actually on that list. He's a tier 3, I believe, as of right now. I believe he's probably more towards tier 2, not necessarily tier 1. He's not crazy good Sertan or someone like that. But I would say he's a tier 2 just because, and the only reason he isn't is because small market doesn't get as much notice. So, speaking of small market, just real quick, shout out to the Pacers. Big win over a bigger market team, Miami.
Yeah, absolutely.
Miami too.
And shout out to the Pro Bowl selections for the Colts.
Yes.
We forgot to mention that one. Pro Bowlers are
Zaire,
Yep.
JT, and Q.
Yep. And then alternates.
Is it Ryman?
Buck and Kelly. Buck and Ryan Kelly.
Right.
Yep. So shout out to those guys. Still don't understand why DeForest Buckner gets no respect for being definitely one of the best at his position and one of the most versatile athletic at his position. He's not a huge defensive tackle that takes up a lot of space, but man, he can cover a lot of ground and do lots of different things. And then I still don't understand why Nick Cross is having the season he is having and getting no respect. The only explanation is small market team.
Yep. Next year.
Couple more matchups for me. And Sam Womack versus Parker Washington. Parker Washington is sneaky. He's sneaky fast, and so I think Sam Womack actually matches up really well with him. Last one for me, Gus Bradley versus Doug Peterson. I'm not going to give any stipulations. We have a special bonus episode dropping on Saturday where we will talk about some pre-off-season management things and our take on it. Gus Bradley may take a big part of that. I'm calling this matchup between Gus Bradley and Doug Peterson the Battle of the Walking Dead.
Okay.
These are two people that are not just fighting for their jobs, but we pretty much, it should be known that they are not keeping their jobs. And so this is the last ditch effort for anyone else to pick them up in the offseason, I think.
Yeah. Also, another quick shout out.
Yep.
Sorry. IU just won as well. Beat Rutgers by 10. So basketball, that is.
Back into Big Ten play on a hot streak. I like it. All right. Who then is your all-in player to watch?
I'm going to go with someone a little bit off the books. Not someone who I think is going to do well necessarily.
Okay.
But someone that I think isn't in danger of losing their job, but can see more focus on them as of next year. Because I believe next year is our year. I said that a while ago whenever we were just the Unstable Blues and not for all in. I said that AR's last rookie year contract deal was that was our
26.
year. Or sorry,
his last year was 26. So the last two,
I said next year was our year. So I'm gonna say this is gonna be someone to watch out for huge growth next year. So I'm gonna go a little bit off the mark with this. I'm going to say Leatu Latu. Hasn't had the greatest year. We talked about it offline about Jared Verse and how he's the front runner for Defensive Player Rookie of the Year, and I think validly so. Great talent. Cooper DeJean should be up there as well if he's not that stupid.
And on the same team, Quinyon Mitchell should be up there too.
But Jared Verse is so much more snap counts than Latu because we have such a strong defensive line already, which is why it was questionable to draft him. But hey,
you got to build because of
contracts.
Because of contracts, and people don't understand that. We do.
So I believe Latu is going to have a huge jump in the offseason, and you may even see him start on the line next year, depending on where contracts are at, his growth and such.
I would totally agree with you. I think Quiddy and Dio, I believe, are both up, and so I don't think you can keep both of those.
Yeah,
and that's why you needed to draft Latu when you did, especially with the depth that was in that draft. You could have taken any of those top three, maybe even taken Chop Robinson. Like there were plenty of options this past year to do what they did, knowing the contracts were coming.
Yeah. Quick question, a little bit of an off-season question.
Okay.
Quiddy or Dio?
I'm not going to tell you because we will get to that later.
Okay.
All right. My all-in player to watch. You said it. You mentioned it. You didn't convince me of it because I had already thought of it. It is Jalen Jones. To me, this is the opportunity to go against the number one rookie receiver who is rivaling even Jamar Chase in several categories, and shut him down like a number one corner should, even when Juju Brents may be back this week. Juju Brents has practiced full all week, and so I want to see what Jalen's got against Brian Thomas Jr. and let Jalen, that Texas A&M guy from right here in Texas, go at him and see what he's got. So, time for predictions.
Yep.
What you got?
I think last time you played Jacksonville at the end of a season, whenever you needed something, you needed to win to get in, and you lost.
Yep.
I think the same thing is going to happen here. I think the Colts are going to win because they don't need to.
Right. And they need to lose to get a better draft.
Score 27-16.
Okay. All right. I have a much higher score between these two teams. But I said that the Colts were going to lose 2 out of 3. I normally pick against the Colts because that's my little stitious thing. But I'm going to stick with it and say Jaguars win 33-31.
Okay.
That's
sticking
that's
with
what I got. Anything else in closing from you?
No. Other than today was a pretty good day for Indiana.
There you go. Keep it going through the weekend, people. Although lose, so I get to enjoy brisket. But that's all that we have for today. That's it for this Colts season. We still have more to go, though. We will be back next week with a special edition of a Colts Corner, where we will download from the season with our annual season in rear view. We will also recap this Jaguars game, one last update from the South, look at the division, and a playoff edition of the Unstable Pick 6, plus a special treat, playoff preview game.
Yes, this is Liam.
And this is Kevin.
Reminding you to stay all in Colts.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.